What does it tell you that LeBron is not recruiting for the Cavs?
Absolutely nothing. Who's he supposed to recruit? I mean, they have no money. And LeBron James, one thing we know about LeBron, from the way he handles his own business, right? The yearly contract so he can maximize how much he gets. The tweet he sent out about Steph Curry, congratulating him on his deal, even saying it should be twice as much as that.
400.
One thing, and I think you'll even have to admit this, Skip.
You better be careful.
LeBron wants players to get paid. And I think he respects guys too much to ask a guy that could get 20 or 30 million somewhere else to come to Cleveland for $5 million, the taxpayer's mid-level exception. If you look at how he's recruited in the past, and he hasn't done it as much as people think, but Kevin Love, they had room. That made sense. He tried to get Chris Bosh to go to Cleveland with him before they went to Miami. They had room. It made sense. But getting minor players, Mike Miller, he's friends with these guys, right, and they come and play with him.
They making max dollars.
Exactly. They're getting a couple $1 million a year. So this really means nothing. Now, as far as recruiting, I mean, Jimmy Butler and Paul George weren't free agents. I'm pretty sure LeBron did talk with them, and they thought they had a deal with it was reported Denver, and I've confirmed it, Denver, Indiana, Cleveland had the owners of each team agreed to the deal.
Kevin Love to Denver.
Kevin Love to Denver.
Paul George to Cleveland.
Yes. Okay. And then Gary Harris, Trey Lyles, and a draft pick, I believe, to Indiana. Yeah. And Kevin Pritchard, the GM for Indiana, or president, went dark. Just didn't want to get it done. And I get he didn't want to send
Paul George to Cleveland.
Or even where he wanted to go. He didn't want to let George go where he wanted to go.
And the thing is that people say, well, he recruited Kevin Love, but then the Cavs had something that Minnesota wanted. They had Andrew Wiggins and the #1 pick the following season. So you had an asset that they wanted. If you didn't have anything, because basically they're saying, the only thing you can offer us, okay, you want to trade us LeBron or Kyrie. Yeah, well, they're not doing that. They don't want Love. Think about it. When they traded for Sean Mozgov, they threw JR in the trade. So nobody wants him because he's like, hold on, I don't know what I'm going to get. $16 million a year? Am I going to get the JR that played games 4 and 5? Or I'm going to get the JR that bull-jived around, got hurt, and didn't seem like he was disinterested? Now, mind you, there was a lot going on at home that was more pressing on his mind than the game of basketball. I get that. But his history has said sometimes he plays good, he plays hard, and sometimes he can care less. It's hard to recruit when you're recruiting a guy that's not free. Paul George wasn't free. Jimmy Butler wasn't free. You can say, well, guys, if Paul, if you come here, we gonna challenge them. We gonna beat Golden State. Yeah. Jimmy, if you come here, but
that's as far as he can go.
That's it.
Because he couldn't make it happen. They couldn't make it happen.
So I'm going to ask my friend Chris Broussard the question that my friend Shannon Sharpe will not answer.
What?
It is. LeBron James is scheduled to make $33.3 million next year. And you know what? You're right. They're all underpaid. He deserves
not all of
5 times that. Seriously.
So,
okay? No, they all are. All those stars are.
Yes. But especially nobody more than him.
Yes.
But there is a thing. It's a soft cap, but it is a salary cap. And in the end, you hit the salary cap wall. Every team ultimately hits the wall. You can only go so far. You can flex it this way, and you can trick it that way, and you can jump through this little loophole. But in the end, you hit the wall. So I still can't get it through my mind why LeBron James, who made last year, according to Forbes, $55 million off the court, the most of any athlete in America, not the world, but not above Ronaldo internationally, okay? But $55 million, that's a lot of dollars. And I get it that LeBron, on principle, wants to be the highest paid, and he should be. But in the end, what's more important, his principle or his rings? He has now fallen to 3-5 in NBA Finals. He's played 14 years in the league. To me, your priority that you want to maximize is your ability to beat Golden State or maybe San Antonio in next year's NBA Finals.
Golden State. I saw what you did there, Skip.
We'll get to that. We'll get to it later.
Revisionist history.
We will get to that
Revisionist
later.
history.
That is not revisionist history. It's just flat out straight history that you want to sweep under the carpet.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Watch
so,
your signs,
so now,
Aja.
back to LeBron James. The blueprint was provided by an elder of his, kind of a big brother to him, a guy who really, in a way, took LeBron under his wing. And that guy was Tim Duncan. He loved LeBron, and they talked a lot in offseason and international play. And Tim Duncan said for his last 4 years of his career, and again, he was older than LeBron, but his last 4
Wasn't in his
years,
prime.
he averaged making $8.7 million when he deserved the max because he was still, I think, the best rim protector in basketball. Certainly going back to 2013 and 2014 when he took shockingly little. He took 9.6 in 2013 and 10.3 in 2014. And he ended up his last year taking $5 million. Why? Because he told his management, he told R.C. Buford, the best GM in basketball, you take that money and you give me a bench or you give me a rotation player who can help us win another championship because all he cared about was rings. And Tim Duncan almost went 6-0 in the finals with 2 MVPs.
Till LeBron got that triple-double in game 6.
Till Ray Allen hit that shot. That's what happened.
Kim, can you answer me this? I want to know this.
I'm sorry.
Can somebody answer me this?
Oh, so we're going to change the subject
No.
now?
Okay. Why is it that sports are the only occupation that they have a cap? Google ain't got a cap on how much the R&D guy can make.
Okay, but baseball doesn't have a cap. It's again, I would think at some point the players are going to become powerful enough they can remove the cap.
Well,
from
you're
the NBA.
talking about the individual max salary, not the salary cap.
Right, right.
Well, remember, I mean, it's not that radical. It would the maximum salary for individuals was put in 1999 after that lockout. So before that, there was no cap on individual salaries. So Jordan's last year,
33 million.
30 and 33 million, his last 2 years.
Okay.
But before that, Jordan was he was not the highest paid player on his team, winning all those championships.
So why wouldn't LeBron just say, hey, give me $5 million next year and I'll be happy because we would have $28 extra million to spend on, who knows, Carmelo.
Are you sure? I don't think there's an amount he could take that would get them room to go get like a max player. He could play for free and they couldn't go get a max.
I don't know.
Kevin Love,
33. Yes, you
Kyrie
could.
Irving are still
If
max.
you limit it 30
That's not, they're way over the cap though.
And they're paying huge luxury.
Yeah.
tax.
They got
So-
11. They got 11 million in Shump. Got 14 tied up in JR. Got
Hey,
another
but you
16.
can't tell me it wouldn't help to
would-
eliminate
no, it
33
really
million?
wouldn't.
Not a max player.
please.
Remember,
Are you kidding?
to sign LeBron, they can go way over the
Okay.
cap because he's their own player.
Okay, but you could go get somebody of some magnitude.
Well, okay, who's available that they could have gotten? Millsap.
You're not getting Paul Milton. You wouldn't have had that much cap room.
Okay, like Carmelo. He said, well, now he's changed his tune. He says, okay, I'll go to Cleveland. I'll waive my no trade to go to Cleveland or to Houston. Well, so help me out here, Carmelo. They're not going to buy you out in New York. I think Phil would have bought him
It's
out.
going to be a game of chicken.
Okay.
Because if he won't waive the clause
All right.
unless they make up, somebody's going to have to give.
So what if Cleveland says, okay, we'll give you, what if New York would do it? They'll take Shumpert and JR back, or I don't know who it is, but they say, we'll take a couple of your sort of B players for Carmelo. Well, then how are you going to get
you
Carmelo
could do
into
that.
your cap?
If it's a trade, you wouldn't have to if it's a trade. If it's a trade, you'd have to send out just as much money or
you're
close
taking
to
off.
as much
you
money as
wouldn't be
you're
able to
taking
get to Carmelo's 26.2
You could,
million.
in a trade, it wouldn't matter. And you're right. With Shump, you'd have to get
Shump,
players making
Fry.
about 22,
Yeah, Shump
23
and
million.
Fry.
So you could do that in a trade.
I don't know. I don't know if you could get up to 26.
Well, like you said, Shumpert, Fry, Corver. I mean, you'd have to give up a bunch of players.
No, but if LeBron took no money, you can't tell me it would be more.
Man, they
like-
playing for
it
free.
wouldn't
Skip,
matter.
Stop it.
We'll find out what their payroll.
Okay,
It wouldn't
so-
matter.
so-
they're
but
way
it's just-
over the cap.